Morning, everybody. It's 6:04 a.m. Today is the 20th, 19th, Monday. February 2018. Central Standard Time, planet Earth, third dimension, as we understand it. So, I tried to make coffee this morning. Normally, I preload the coffee pot the night before. So all I have to do when I wake up in a bumbling stupor is press the button, then stand there slack-jawed at the kitchen counter and wait for the hot, brown, delectable holy water to fill up the coffee pot so I can caffeinate and get on with my day. However, yesterday, being an extremely busy day, I did put water in the coffee pot, but I didn't put any damn coffee in the coffee pot. So I got hot, slightly brown water. And that would have been a major problem, a critical error as far as my schedule goes. Except for the fact that I was up at 4 a.m. because the baby was practicing her tumbling and rolling in the bed in between myself and my wife. And after the fourth firm kidney shot from her little foot, I was like, you know what? I'm going to get out of this damn bed and start my day. So I did have some bandwidth to brew a second pot of coffee, or a first pot of coffee, but second cycle of the coffee maker this morning. So if I sound extra idiotic this morning, it's because I'm not as caffeinated as I would like to be, and today represents the 22nd day in a row of work for me without a Sabbath or a day of rest. And I don't see one in my near future anytime soon either, which is cool. So I think I'm going to end up somewhere around 40 to 45 days straight in order to make everything happen that needs to happen in the near future. But that's not why we're here. We're here because you have way too much stuff. You know it, and I know it. How do I know it? I'm assuming that you're a human being. I'm also assuming, by and large, that our viewership are Americans. And therefore, you have too much stuff. I don't even know you, and I promise you have too much stuff. I'm going to give you a couple examples. Saturday, we had to pack up and move Grandma for our upcoming Oklahoma escapade. Grandma is an 80-year-old woman who lives in a house by herself, rather frugally, I might add. And we have been purging Grandma's stuff steadily for the last 60 days. We still filled 4 U-Haul pods, 3 18-foot trailers, and a 10 by 20 storage unit. And when I say full, I mean you might be able to get a small stack of business cards in there, and that's it. They are fully Tetrised, fully loaded. And a lot of this stuff now, I mean, understand, I'm not a very emotional person, and I am not a very sentimental person. I see beauty in functionality, so I don't keep a lot of beautiful things, because to me, you know, an M4 rifle is beautiful because of what it can do for you. A Pulaski axe is beautiful because of what it can do for you. But I don't have any sculptures or art or whatever, right? Which is funny because both Grandma and my wife are phenomenally accomplished artists. I mean, legitimately excellent painters with oils. Mind-blowing. And all of my kids are artistic as well. I'm not. I can go there if I need to, but it's not an ability that I exercise very much. So by and large, my stuff is very practical and pragmatic. Other than my drums, because I have a giant drum set and I love them. I don't play them as much as I used to, but I love them. So I guess that's my one indulgence. But literally everything else that's mine, clothes, guns, gear, whatever, boots, all of that fit in the bed of a pickup truck. I mean, like, for real. And for a large portion of my life, everything I owned had to fit in a duffel bag. And I know a lot of y'all can relate to that, right? So you get pretty good at being a minimalist. Like, you know exactly how many pairs of underwear you need rolled up to get you through a certain sector of time. Grandma, being an 80-year-old woman, has very little experience with the whole minimalist stoicism approach, you know. So the amount of crap, and I use the term crap loosely, she has really cool stuff, but the amount of stuff that she has is overwhelming for an 80-year-old woman who lives alone. A lot of it's useful, a lot of it's not. Example 2, I was at A Shop yesterday. I spent about 6 hours. About 6 hours on a skid steer, you know, a little bobcat, pushing up and piling up all the debris inside the building. There are anywhere between 3 and 4 semi-loads of debris in that building. I'm going to guesstimate about 70 to 80 cubic yards of debris in that building. And the takeaway there is, you know, not a lot of that's burnt up inventory, which sucks. But a lot of it is burnt up equipment, which sucks. And a lot of that equipment is not stuff we actually needed. It's stuff that we had, and we just kept it around. I mean, old bandsaws, busted drill presses. I mean, literally like a half a dozen miter saws just cause we had them and they were there. And I mean, thing after thing after thing. You know, one guy that works for us, Luke, our evil genius, had a rack, 10 foot wide, 4 foot deep rack, 12 foot high, filled with his, filled, probably 2 tons of scrap wood for various projects that he had in various stages of completion. And by I mean stages of completion, most of them were not even begun yet. They were just piled up, things that had some inherent value, but he or we could not get rid of for whatever reason. It all speaks to me to this period of decadence that we live in, right? We've accumulated a lot of things, a lot of stuff, and a lot of wealth. And we have all these things that in a lot of cases exist for no reason other than to give us comfort or joy. And again, me being pragmatic, I'm not, you know, if it doesn't have a use, get rid of it. You know, and I'm not sentimental. Get rid of it. There's a few things I would never want to lose, like my first 410 shotgun and my first 22 rifle. I don't think you ever just get rid of guns anyway. Keep them. You know, just keep them. But aside from that, there's very few things. You know, I have certain drawings that my kids have done for me over the years that I have stashed away, but it's not a lot of stuff. And when all this goes away, when this decadent society goes away, all that stuff isn't going to do, if it's not filling a role in a system, get rid of it. And I would say, have a few comfort items. Books. I love books. I love them. And I have a really strange retention for things that I visually acquire. Once I look at it, it's in there. My recall is very, very good. So I tend to read a book once, maybe twice, and then never touch it again. But we have lots of books. And I would recommend keep them around if you have lots of books, because you might get bored. Sans internet. And you might not. You might be so tired at the end of the day from trying to live an agrarian lifestyle that you could care less about reading a book at the end of the day. But point being, we all have a bunch of junk at our house that we could certainly stand to get rid of. And we should. And the even cooler part about that is you can sell your junk to somebody else that is not aware that this system is all going to fall apart, right? That they're heavily invested in junk. Awesome. Make them an offer they can't refuse. Get rid of your stuff. Turn that stuff into food and water and ammunition and medical supplies and training. Maybe some land. A couple chickens, whatever, right? Things that have equity. Things that make sense. Maybe you need a grain mill and a sausage grinder. Why? I don't know. A lot easier to do that stuff with a hand machine than by hand. If you had to. Oh, hey, there goes a bunny rabbit. Rabbits have the worst self-defense mechanisms. They're just like, you can't see me. I'm not moving. I'm sitting in the middle of the road. But you can't see me because I'm not moving. Anyway. Police your crap. Get rid of it. Sell it. Make it disappear. Turn it into dollar bills. Because at some point, our decadent, end-stage, materialistic society goes away. And that dollar, that worthless fiat dollar, is going to be truly worthless. Nobody's going to take it in exchange for anything. So get what you can get for your junk now and turn that into, everlasting legacy items like buckets of rice, AR-15s, tourniquets, 4x4 gauze. I submit that you should have your body weight in 4x4 gauze and rolled gauze. You can fix pretty much anything with those two things, right? Cotton rags. Just cotton rags. Things, corn oil. Buy some tobacco plants. Plant some tobacco. Play. Go play. Go plant a garden. Sell all your junk. Go through your closet. Sell all the clothes you haven't worn in the last 6 months. And use all of that to start a garden. Right? Do something. I guarantee you can find $5,000 worth of crap in your house. I did a video on that. Where do I get the money to start prepping? Well, there's $5,000 worth of junk in your house. I promise you. Go sell it. Just get rid of it. You're not going to eat your Dolce & Gabbana handbag when the shit hits the fan. You might have to if that's all you have, right? But get rid of it. Make it go away. Get rid of it. Go buy some canned chicken or whatever you're into. Mac and cheese. Whatever. 77 grain match ammunition for your AR, or buckshot, or buy a book on herbal remedies. Figure it out. But sell your crap and use that money to buy the stuff you need now while you still can. I'll talk to you all later. Bye.